All right, so we're going to have a look at how we can use signed distance fields to make quite complex materials that can work from far. And also, if we zoom up really close, you can see that it's still high resolution, right? And if you actually have a look at we put the debug mode on, you can see this is very low resolution texture. We're only seeing one layer here. But if we have a look at the texture, we're going to have a look. So this is it. But if we have a look at the texture, it's actually really, really small. It's 512 by 256. We can actually make it smaller. But we're using these layers. So we've got the red layer, green layer, and then we've got a blue layer. And when we put them all together, we can do some really quite complex things. And we can also stack them. So, I've got a little bit of an atlas here. So this is 512 by 512. And if we have a look at it, we've got two textures here. So we can move to the second image. You can see here, this is using this. We turn off debug, and we can adjust the brightness of the outline. Let's go back to the original one. We can adjust the text outline. We can adjust the border outline. Right? Obviously we've got some animation which we can adjust to make things move quicker. Right, so how do we make this? Okay, just close this off here. You can bring this out into the world. How do we make this? So firstly, if we go into Photoshop, created two layers. So this is actually a really large texture. We start off as a 4K by 2K texture. And if you have a look here, we've got a red channel, which has just got our letters. Our SDFs are cool. And then the green channel, this green channel will give us like variation per letter. And then we have our blue channel, which we want to use for our background and our border. Now this green layer, if we actually have a look at it, we've got these values. So if I get my eyedropper, my trusty calculator, wherever that is, there we go. You can see that eyedropper go away. No. So click on this, and this is black. And then we have a look at this one. This is 10. This is 32, 52, 74. And those aren't random values, okay? So if we got 12 colors here. So if we go, what's it, 255 divided by 12, and we get 21.25, okay? Now, we want to actually get the halfway mark, right? I'll go into all this a little bit more. But if we have a look at it, we have like a whole row of colors. Actually, we're going to be using color curves, so I'll just jump into this color curve over here to show you, because this is how we're coloring everything. It's really cool. So if we go from like 0 to 1 over here, right? If we say this one is 255 and we divide it by 12, we actually get like, this is from here to here is like 21.25, and then this is like plus 21.25 plus 21.25 plus, or whatever these values are. But we actually want to sample the center over here, right? So we'd like 21.25 minus, we'll say 10, right? Minus 10 was pop it over here, right? And then from there, when we get that value, we want to just add 21.25, 21.25, and so on and so forth, right? So if we go here, you know, calculate 21.25, and then if we just go minus 10, Or sorry, yeah, we can just, I guess we could just call it 20. So if we go 20 minus, yeah, 20 minus 10 is 10. So we go 10 and then we go plus 21.25. And then it's 31.25. So if we have a look at that, 10, and then it's 32, because we'll just round up, yeah, we'll like round up 32. And then the next one is 52, so we go plus 21.25. It's 52, round down. So it's like you round up or round down, but it's just the closest integer, right? And then 52, and then we go 74 plus 21.25. 73, okay, round up 74. And you essentially just keep going up until you reach the value, you know, the 12, right? And then, so we have all of that, and we have our values. And we did the same for like the second one over here. So we got our red values, and then we got our green. It's the same step because I just want to have 12 values. You can have many more. You can have, you know, 255 values if you want. And then we got our obviously blue, which is just a mask. It's black and white. The reason why we want to use 4K images or large images as possible is when we create these distance fields. Distance fields are best created with vectors, and I'll show you that in a second. So if we go over to Photoshop here, Substance Designer, and I linked that Photoshop file. Now, if we have a look at this Photoshop file, I've actually like collapsed all of these images. So if I just hide that, so I've collapsed. So it's a layer called red. Actually, we'll just use this one here. It's a layer called red for no other reason other than I want it to be the red layer, and then the green. So this is where we get our like variation layer, and then the blue is our background, right? So when you bring this into Designer, so you just like right click and you go link bitmap, and then you find the Photoshop file, and then it'll bring it in, and you can see it's brought in the layers, right? And the reason why I'm doing the Photoshop files, I've tried it with Targas and I've tried it with TIFFs, and they come in fine, but I found that this variation here, like when I bring in a Targa or a TIFF, like if we hover over these, you can see the values down here. Like look at the green. So you can see that's 10, 32, 52, 74. Like these are the actual values that we have in Photoshop. And when I brought in so if I go link bitmap, I think I've got like is it this mask here? So if we open this here. So if I bring this in here and we have a look at the green. No, it's not the green. It's the blue. Yeah. There's test one. You can see 0. You see this is like if we look down here, right? It's like 9, 22, 37, 54. So this was the same image, but for some reason when it's coming through, it's like all of the data wasn't coming through. So I found with a Photoshop file, it works flawlessly. So we'll use that. So what we want to do here is if we have a look at these images, I'll just have a look at the red here. We want to do this. And then I want to do an RGBA split. At least, can we do grayscale? Yeah, no. We want to do an RGBA split, and I want to get the red. And then we want to get a bevel smooth. Now, if I get a bevel smooth, this in the masked input. So this is like it by default, and you can see bevel, maximum distance. You can see what's happening here is like when it bevels, it's starting from the edge here and it's beveling out. Okay, we want this edge to be the center, right? So you can see over here. So if we take this mask offset and I go 0.5, right? So when we actually go out, you can see it's like this is going in and this is going out, right? So if we do this, we just keep going, right? And what that allows us to do is, it means like the 0.5 value. So if we go like so if you see here, if we go 128, like wherever that is, 128, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere there. There you go. That is actually the midpoint. That's actually our boundary, right? Because what a distance field is, you can see, right? What it is if we like zoom in, and this is why you want them to be like sharp as possible, right? Because if we have a look at this, you see it's sharpened it up here. So it's like the lower your resolution of your images, the more like jaggies you get, which means that your like distance field isn't like as sharp as it can be, right? This pixel over here calculates like what is the distance, but what distance am I from this pixel? And then it's that value, right? So if this is 1, because what distance am I? And that's like whatever value that distance is. Then this one's like, what distance am I to this and whatever. And it calculates it. And that's why as we do this and we go further out, like it gets like more, it gets darker, right? It's like, what's the distance? What's the distance? So then as we go out, it calculates that. So we know like that's the 0.5 value. It's like, what is this value as opposed to 0.5 based on whatever this is, right? Like the maximum distance, right? So it does that. And that's really what it's doing. It looks like a gradient, but it's not a gradient, right? It's actually like the distance. There is like a distance node here, which actually, if we do this offset here, I think if we do this here, like this is like a proper like signed distance field, where if we change this to absolute and we go 16, right? You can see this is these values over here. You can see like this is value down here, and then it goes to like 0. And it's making me a liar. Is it 32-bit? Do we have to do high precision? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So as we go down, then as we go in, it's like the negative version. So if I get like a, is there an absolute? Yeah, so then if we do like a pixel, if we do like a pixel processor, right? So if we go like get float to, get like our position, we go sample grayscale. Yeah, is that it? So if we do like an absolute, there you go. So you can see like here we've got like, you can see like now you can see the SDFs are cool, right? Because it's like whatever the negative value, it's just turning the negative into the positive. So you can see like this is exactly how like text is rendered. Those of you who don't know. So anyway, so because we don't want to use negative values, we're going to use this bevel, and where's this mask offset is 0.5. And then we can just like put this at like, I don't know what I use, like 0.16 or 0.1. Yeah, we'll just use 0.16. Okay, so that gives us like, shows you like how this goes. So once we do like, we'll use like a smooth step to sharpen it out in Unreal, right? So we want to do that with this, okay? And then we want to do the exact same thing with our border. Okay, and then we want to get a merge node, pop it in there, and then here we can actually make it small. So I've like, it's still the same ratio, so it's 4K by 2K, 4K wide by 2K high, and this is like 512 pixels by 256. But because we've like done all of our like calculations up here to get the distances, when it actually interpolates it down, it works quite well. So I found that comes out quite nicely, and you can see like all like the distances and all that stuff. So if we have a look here, we've got our RGBA, and then we just export it as sRGB, right? Just export it. So then we come into Unreal. You can just close all of this, I will make a new folder. Example, just pop all of this in here. Actually, not the plane, we'll just pop all of this in here. We'll just have this plane, and we'll bring in the texture again, right? So I want to, and we'll bring this one in. All right, so let's take a look at a few things. So first things first, if we have a look at this, this compression is awful. And that's because we actually need to use uncompressed. So if we go uncompressed, have a look at that, that's a lot better. And we can also remove bitmaps because we don't really need to use them because we'll be using a smooth step with a filter. And then we also want to remove sRGB because we want it to be linear. So then we can press save. We'll make a new material. And so go m_SDF example. And then we'll create a material instance, mi, and then we'll save these. I'll grab this plane, just put this example onto here, save it, open up this, and we will put the example, the plane as our grid, right? So we'll be using substrate as that's the default in 5.7. And what we want to do is in here, I want to turn off auto, put this to 0. All right. And then we just want to bring in our texture. All right. Okay. So the first thing, we could use this, but I want to use a slab to get more comfortable using it. So use substrate slab, and we'll just plug this into here like so. All right. We'll be using unlit. You can use the unlit substrate slab, but if you try and like mix them or use any of the layer mixing, it's a bit limiting, but that's fine. We'll just get used to using this. What we want to do here is I'm going to hold 1 and click. The albedo is 0, and I want to do F0 because I just want it to be unlit. You can see if we just plug this into the emissive color, we have this. The next thing I want to do is, if we have a look at click on perspective and we adjust our EV exposure, you can see that, if we put our EV up, our we can't see this anymore. So I want to do this eye adaptation node, inverse eye adaptation. I'm going to plug this into here and plug this into emissive color. And you'll see now that it's visible. And no matter what I do with our exposure, it will always be visible, right? And that's really useful. It's really good generally if you have any emissive that you just want to always be visible, you can use that node. All right, so the first thing we want to do is let's look at getting our text and all of our bits working, right? So I'm going to append, because we just really want to use the red and the blue for now. So I'm just going to do an append vector. So I'm going to get these two together. And then I want to subtract 0.5. Because you see, remember when we go back to here, remember how I was saying that when we do this distance, it actually takes it from the halfway mark and this goes out and this goes in, right? So our actual border is at 128, which is 0.5. So over here, I want to subtract 0.5. Remember, if we didn't make this linear, turn off that sRGB in our texture, this will be off. So if this isn't working, just check if you have got sRGB turned off. So if we do this, you can see now it's a lot more tighter. And then if we type in smooth step, we can plug this in here. You can have a look at this. I'm actually going to do mask, component mask, and I just want to see the red channel. You can see that is looking good. And we put this at like 0.001. You can see now this is like super sharp. Look how cool that is, right? Tiny texture, right? Small texture, and we're getting it like really sharp. Okay. But you see, like if we actually go further away, if we actually get lines and well, once we get our lines, you'll see that we can get some aliasing. So what we want to do is we want to use this like filter width. So if I go texture coord, where are you, mate? Texture. It used to just pop up. They've done something. Texture coordinate. Okay, cool. So from here, we want to get a filter, compute filter width. So this just essentially finds the edge border, like the difference between the pixels. So if we plug this in here, it's going to throw an error, but we'll just see. So 0, and then we want to add. So you see how this is like 0.0001? We just need to find like a really small distance between the two, and that'll like anti-alias it. So we want to add this and then plug this into here. See, it's throwing an error because this one, it's a vector 3 and this is a vector 2. So we're just going to get our append, and we'll just append 0. We'll plug this in. And you'll see now that like this is just going to be super smooth. Like you can even see it now. If we go like that, like that's really smooth, right? Like that edge. If I take this out and I do that, this won't be as smooth from everywhere. So this is just always like perfect edges. Okay. So we have that. And then if we look at our green, you can see this is also our perfect border. All right. So that's our like fill. So we can do a reroute, add reroute declaration. We can go, that's our fill. Oh. All right. And the next thing we want to do is we want to get our border. We want to get two. We want to get our border for our background, and we want to get the border for our text or whatever, our graphics. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it. Actually, there's a append. We don't. I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to pop this into here. Okay, and then with this over here, so this one's going to be our text outline. And if we have a look here, this is good. We can actually do a, just want to get the red, put the red in here. So that's our text. So in order to actually get the outline, we want to subtract our 0.5. Then we want to do an abs, get an absolute. So you see now we get our outline here. And then we can pop this in here like so. You see, this doesn't quite, you see, because this is a good illustration of this compute filter width. If I take this out, you can see how when we go close here, because this is 0.001, you can see that that's like that, right? It's that tiny little bit. But if I plug this in here, what this is doing here, you'll never actually get close enough to see it because it'll always be that like one tiny little pixel, right? No matter how far you are. And that's how you get that like anti-aliasing. right? So I'm just going to right click on this, convert to parameter. I'm just going to go text outline width. Okay, and if we go like 0.1, like 0.01, right? So we can do that. I'm actually going to put a value here, and I'm going to go like 0.15, and I'm just going to multiply it by this, and I'm going to make this just between, so you know, if we go, oh, we want the width to be like 0.25, it's like fine. Maybe we go like 0.1. So if we put this at 1, yeah. Then I'm just going to put a saturate here. Saturate's like a free clamp, and 0 to 1, so we can't go over that, right? And then over here, I'm going to put a minus, a 1 minus to flip it. So we get that. All right, that's cool. Okay, so we'll save this. And then we want to do the same for our copy, paste. I want to do the same for our blue. I'm going to grab this, pop this in here, border outline. Have a look at that. Oh yeah. Border outline width. Okay. So for us to make a mask of this, I want to go up here into our fill. So text, so this here we can actually go like that, like this, bring this stuff over here. So we want to go fill. So we have a look at this, we go mask, component mask, and we want to get the green like this, and I'm going to get our border outline. I'm going to go up to our opacity mask. So I'm going to add these two together like that. And the reason why we're adding it for our opacity mask, because again, look, if you see over here, right, if we adjust the thickness of our border outline, so if we go to like 0.5, see it's growing from the center again. That's because the 0.5 mark of our distance field is the border, so it's growing in and out, right? So that's kind of why we want to do that. Maybe we can make this a bit thicker actually. 5. Yeah. So if we add those, and then I'm going to do a saturate, and then I'm going to put this in the opacity mask, save with our material. Just click anywhere in the background, blending mode, masked. So now if we undo this, you can see now we have our mask happening there. All right. So now let's do some coloring. We'll do some very basic coloring. So again, we want to get our fill. Do we want to get our fill or our outline? Let's work with our outlines. We go text, text outline. Yep. Let's not make this 1. Let's go 0.5. Yep, that looks good. And we might want to not grow it both sides. So this fill, going to go mask, component mask. I want to get our red, and I want to get our text outline, and I want to multiply it. So you can see here, if we look at this, you can see how this is thin here, and then if we go text outline, watch, it'll be double the thickness. See, it's double the thickness. Just want to like cut it off because we want it to grow in. Don't want it to grow out. It's your choice. You can grow out if you want to. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to do a lerp, and where it's white, I want to do a color for now. Doesn't really matter. Just do a 3 vector. Just going to pick any garish color. It's fine. All right. So we have that. And then for our background, I'm going to get our fill here. And I'm going to get another color. Let's get this red. And I'm just going to multiply it by that. And then we do that. There we go. Let's actually have a little bit of pride in our work. All right. There you go. So that works good. Good, good, good. So now we want to do the same for our border. So I'm going to copy, paste, right? And the fill, we're going to use our green. So the green channel to get the fill, and the text outline, I actually want to use our border outline. Border outline. So we're going to do this. And there you go. So that works. Let's just update this. Let's just make it like, I don't know, like a gray or something. Like that. And then instead of blue, we will make this, I don't know, green. Good. All right, that's great. So then we're going to do another lerp. And this green here, we want to subtract this, subtract this, and we have that text outline, this. Oh yeah, no, we want to take this and we're multiplying it to get that. Right, so we want to take this and we want to use this as the mask. And where it's white, we do that. And where it's black, we do that. Yes, there we go. All right. So that's what I'm actually going to just clean this up. I'm just going to do this. And we will flip these so it's not too insane. All right. So I'm going to save this, plug this into here. All right. So this is great, but an issue that we will have is because our, on the border here, because our mask is exactly the same as our outline. So over here, like this mask is exactly the same. So if we do this, oh, it's actually further. Border outline is over there. So what's happening? This fill, text outline. Oh wait, what's happening here? Why is this? Fill, border outline. Oh, we're multiplying it by the fill. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to add. So that's that. So we want to add them. Yes. Don't we just want to do that? Yes, that's what we want to do. don't want that. And then when we do that, okay, there we go. Right. Okay, so that works. That works now. But if we go back to here and we have a look at this, because these two are exactly the same thickness, what you'll actually find is you can get some like haloing around here. So what I like to do in this instance for this over here, for this border outline, is do a version that we don't do in abs. All right, so we can grab this like this. So if we have a look here, so the one up here, if we get our fill, so we can grab our fill, we can grab this, and with this we can go minus, and do a 1 minus to flip it, and essentially this is what we want instead of this, because it's the same thing, right? So we want to then do this, and we want to add them together. You can see here. And then we do a saturate. So it just clamps it. And then we pop this here like this. Okay. So we do that. And then we do that, right? So that works like that. So, but then, because we're masking it, it cuts it out. And because it like floods out, it's almost like a dilate when you're doing your Substance Painter or Substance Designer bakes or exports. So now you'll never get any like haloing around here. All right, so that's like the you know, the bulk of all of this. When I get to like coloring it now and making it look good. All right, so you can see now with this really small texture, we can scale it up really big or really small. It's nice to use for decals. You can put a bunch of them on some textures and get a lot of mileage out of that, right? So now what we want to do is adjust the, like, get some different colors within our text using this this green texture. Okay, so what do we want to do? So let's create our curve atlas, because essentially what we're doing is, if I take this and I multiply it by 12, because we're having 12 steps. See, so we've taken it, let's go multiply it by 1. This is it, multiply it by 12. And then if I do an if statement, so if we go this, we go if it equals a number. I mean, this kind of won't work right now, but hopefully we'll get the point. So we want to do a floor. Maybe a round will work better. So if we go equals to that, if it's greater than that, 0. If it's equal to that, let's see if this works. High chance a lot of it won't. Okay, so if it's 0, pick that one. If it's 1, yeah, pick that one. If it's 2, yeah, pick that one. If it's 3, pick that one, and so on and so forth. 4, pick that one. So we're able to actually isolate each of those blocks based on the value, right? But this this is actually quite expensive. Like if we duplicated this, you know, and if we like had one for value 0, then we like copy paste, and then we put this in here, and then we had one for value 1, and we did like a multiplier. We like this, and we got like a color. and we put a color in here, let's pick yellow because we're very clever artists, and do that. Now, you'll also notice, like, if we go here, you can see the haloing, and that's because it's a really small texture. And if we look through all this, you can actually see there's like this like fall off between black and whatever color it is like the tiny little pixels. And this is what you're seeing here, right? That's what you're seeing here and here. It's like when we multiplied it by 12 and did a floor, that's what we're getting. So if I multiply this, I want to take another value here. Just make this red. Pop this in here. Yeah, we can like add them together. Add that and that. And like, you know, there you go. Like that's cool. And then we can like use it to mask out the color, right? That's really great. But if we wanted to have heaps of these, it can get kind of expensive and it's a bit of a waste. We can do better. So let's use color curves, right? So in here, I'm just going to right click and go under miscellaneous, and I'm going to go curve. I'm going to go curve linear color, select, and I'm going to go C underscore, I don't know, colors 01. Sure. And then we need an atlas. We can't pop it in there. So we need to create a curve atlas. There you go, miscellaneous, curve atlas. We go CA underscore colors. Sure. And then inside of here, we open it up. You will see that texture width will go 2048, 2K. Because I found with 2K you get a bit of, because this is not like nearest point filtering, it's still bilinear. So with 2K you actually have like a bit of give when we sample the quote unquote center of a step, and that'll become apparent in a minute. So if we take this color 01 under gradient curve, and I can pop this into here, and then that's it. We just push save. So in this, we're going to go into our color curve, and I'm not going to, you can do it like mathematically, but we're just going to eyeball it for now. But I'm literally just going to create 12 colors. So I'm just going to click here. So that's 1. Cool. And then I'll just get some random colors. We can do that. And this one here, we'll just clear that. Oh, we'll just delete this. Okay. I think that's enough. It'll become apparent in a second. So if we select them all, and then we right click and we just make this constant. So now it's like we've got these steps. Okay. And save. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. All right. So now if we go into here, if we now right click and go curve, there is a curve atlas row. So we can just go right click here and go atlas. There is a way currently with this, you can't update the curve atlas, but you can actually do some maths where you can like manually just, because it is just a texture. Like if we bring this in here, it's literally just a texture. That's what it compiles down to. So you can actually do some UV math where you can, if you have a bunch of these, because that's what we can do. Like you can add more of these in here. See how this is like 2 pixels now? It's like 3 pixels now. So you can add more of them and select them. We'll add another one in a second, but yeah. So, but for now, we'll just keep it like this. Just keep it simple. So we'll get our curve atlas, and then which curve do we want? We'll pick that color curve. Now, this curve time is essentially where are we along here? So this is time 0. Over here at 1, this is time 1, right? So essentially, where are we? And this maps to this over here, right? So 0, and then that like 10 value, and whatever this value is, and 255 is 1, so it's like 255 divided by 10 is, yeah, that value, and so on and so forth, right? So if we preview this, 0.1, okay, there you go. 0.25, there you go. So it's just picking a different value along our atlas, our curve. So if we plug this into here, you can see now it maps our colors to this. 0, 1, 2. Did we missing this? Oh yeah, that's correct. You can see this block here is because our colors, we don't need that anymore. Our colors here, see this, or this over here, which one was it? This green. It's like it's like covering two things here because all this is wrongly spaced. We'll fix that in a second. Okay, so we have this working. This is great. So I'm going to just drag this and just do a reroute and just call this text color text, color spelt correctly. And then we go to, where is our fill? Go into here, so where this is, and we go color text, and we plug this into here. Boop. Yeah, nice. Apply. Save. And then if we want, instead of making this blue, we can take this, multiply it by a value, right? So we can go outline brightness. We can go like 5. Then we can just plug this into here. Yeah, let's go 50. 500. Yep, and we got some neon, 250. Sure. All right. So what we'll do now is I'm just going to bring this here, and we can just map it correctly. So we've got, so you can even see, so like this works here. So you can see like the red and the purple works. And then, yeah, you see, so we got like red, purple, and then pink. So red, purple. So we're totally missing the green. So it's probably, yeah, no, that's good. And then this here, there you go. So you can see it's like where it's sampling. We need to sample, like get it roughly in the middle. So we're just gonna move a lot of this stuff down. So we got like the pink. There you go. So we got that on there. Then we want the yellow. So that's correct. And then the green. That's correct. And then the C. So we're totally missing this pink here. So we probably need to do that. Yep, there you go. And then the blue. We're missing the blue. There you go. There's the blue. And then we have that. And then we have, oh boy, and then we want to bring this back. There you go. There is all of our colors. Save. All right. So that's good. So we want to do that. So if we have a look here like that, and that works out great. So if we do this, that's great, right? Now, to get a bit of animation on that, we'll actually do that in a second, but let's get some animation around the border here. All right. What's going on there? Oh no, nothing. It was just doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. Bloom. All right. So we want to get some nice colors around the border. All right. So let's get a texture coordinate. So we want to get like our coordinates to be a spiral. All right. So how do we do that? So we can get this and we go radial. So it's radial. Great. No, not that one. Radial. Vector to radial. So we pop this in here and we have a look at this. That is that doing, if we subtract 0.5. Yep, there we go. That's what we want. That's what we want over here. So we want to get the one going around. So that's the green one, right? So we go mask and we want to get our component mask. Nope, not the green one, the red one, because that's the vertical. So you can see if we go over here, see we are starting from the red. So if we get our red channel, so you see this goes from black to white. And then when we subtract 0.5, we go into the middle. And then what this does is it just takes it from the top, and I think it brings it down and then just like wraps it around. So we get that, right? So it just wraps it around from the bottom, essentially, right? So we want to do that. And then we want to do the same thing. So we want to multiply it by, I think it's 12. Multiply by 12. So we go up, and then we want to do what we did here when we, I think before we floored it, go floor. Actually, do we want to do that? No, let's just, no, we do not. Let's take this, excuse me. We don't want to, we just want to take this here and we'll take our atlas, but let's take a different set of colors, right? So I'm going to get our color curve and I'm going to duplicate it. We'll go color 2, get our curve atlas. I'm going to make another gradient, boop, and I'm going to put our color curve 2 in it. And what I want to do in our color curve 2, instead of like adjusting all the colors, I'm just going to adjust the hue. Just do that. Just vibrance, what does that do? Fine. Yeah, that's fine. Leave all that like that. So then here, I'm going to copy and paste this. And I'm going to call this like text curve, and then I'm going to call this border curve. All right, and I'm going to select color 2 for this. So if we pop this in here and we do that, you can see now we've got this, and that looks really great. Except this here looks bigger. Oh no, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. And then we will go color border. Color border. Righto. So where was our border? It's up here. And it's this gross one here. So we go color border. We just pop that in there like that. Yeah. Look at that, everybody. Save. Then we want to get our outline brightness. Copy paste. Color border. And let's just pop this in here. Like that. There you go. Apply. Save. So you see now that's really cool, hey? So if we now go our material instance, we have our border outline width. So we can adjust that. We have our outline brightness. We can go negative. Okay. Then we have our text outline width. Okay. And then we can actually change. So this here, you can see if we want to change it to the different curve, right? We can do that, right? So that's cool. So now let's just add some animation into this, right? So if we want to then, I'm not really going to worry about our background. I mean, you get the point. But we want to then, if we get this border color, let's go over here and we can do this and go custom rotator. Good friend, custom rotator. We're going to go time. So when I get time and we want to divide by, sure, 2. So let's go border animation speed. So we'll say 4. 4 means faster. So let's do a multiply. But then you go from now, we'll just do that. It's fine. So we want to go rotation. So if we do this, see that's doing that. It's rotating. Subtract. There you go. So we have that now. And then if we go through there, that's now animating. Okay, great. Look at that. That looks great. And then if we go 0, we don't need, if we go like 0.5, it's going nuts. It is the wrong way, but that's fine. So we want to then go like 6. I want to go counterclockwise. Multiplied by -1. So we want to go clockwise. There you go. All right. So if we just have a look at that, look at that. Looks great. Save. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a hue and saturation on our text color. So I'm going to go hue shift. So we'll pop the texture into here. So if we just say normal, so that's normal. And then we can go time, we can do the same thing over here. So we could just take this, copy. And we can go text, animation speed, sure. And we pop this in here. There you go, you can see it's updating the hue. So if we go like 2, 1, 4, and then this can be like 12. 2. Apply. Save. Okay. So there we go. There's a pretty cool sign. We can update those things. Use it as decals with a, fairly small texture. Now, we can make this smaller. Just depends on how you, what detail you want. So if we go under maximum texture size in our texture, 256, we can just go, 512. If we go 256, you could see that that like works, right? So if we go close, you can see like breaks down a little bit. So if we go 128, so you can see here now, you can see where it's, you know, not the best thing in the world. So 256, 512. So it's up to you depending on how you want to use it. So what I would like to do now is if we go into Photoshop, you can see I have this second set of textures, right? Go into Designer, and I literally just have it down here where I've got the red, it's exactly the same, the green and the blue. We do the split like we did before. We do our bevel, we have our green, we do our bevel to our blue, then we do our RGBA merge at 512 by 256. And then over here, what I've done is, if I get this top one, put this in here, all right, I'm just like stacking them, right, in this pixel processor. So essentially what I'm doing, if we go inside, is I'm getting the UV position, I'm dividing it by on the X 1, on the Y 0.5, doing a floor, and then doing this. So if we can't set as output, but we could do this one if we do that. So you can see I'm doing a floor, and then I just want to use the get the Y and use it as a mask. So, and then we're just getting this texture here because we're dividing it by 1 and 0.5 on the Y, so we get 2. And then over here, it's the same thing, but it's the other one. And then we're using, all right, there we go. So then we're using this as a mask. So we get the 2 here. And then I'm just putting it into this here, and then we export it. So it's 512 by 512, right? Then we go into Unreal, and let's bring that in. Number 2, bring this in. And we need to do the same thing, right? We want to make sure that, just don't worry about MIPS, uncompressed, turn off sRGB. The reason why I turn off MIPS, honestly, so this is like 1K by 1K. If we do this, it's actually a little bit bigger because it has to store those MIPS in there. I could save that. See this, it's all of the bits. Okay. So if we go into our example here and we get our texture, number 2, you can see like it works great, right? It just works, except let's do some stuff now to get our UVs working. So I'm going to get our texture coordinate, copy paste. All right, so we have our texture coordinates, and I'm going to mask out the red channel and mask out the green. All right, so we want to divide this by 2, and then we want to append them again. So we can do this, and we pop this in here, and then we're only seeing one of them. But in order to shuffle this so we can see the other one, it's just by 0.5. So if we add, so if we go 0, and then we do this over here, and we add 0.5, because we're shuffling the UVs. We're like adding, so we're pushing them so we can see what was below, right? So then we want to do a select. Nope, it is called a switch. And we can do a texture or image, flipbook image, whatever it is, image, select image, and then which one do we want? So the switch value, so we can do a, do we want to do a round, or let's do a ceiling. No, let's do a floor. All right. And the default value is 0, but we have a couple here. So we have 0, and then at 0, we want to do that. At 1, we want to shuffle it by 0.5. We're going to pop this over here. So that's 0, and then we go 1, it moves up like that. And we also want to clamp this 0 to 1. Do a saturate. We can do that. Okay. Nice and nice and clean. Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, just put this to the rest of the fire. Okay. All right. Save. Example. All right, so we have that. That's good. We can, where is our image select? Boop. That's cool. For our border or our texture curve, can change it. I mean, granted, there are cycling through colors, so it doesn't really do anything. I mean, it's changing, but you know, it's just a bunch of colors. Border curve, can change that. Yeah, look how cool that is. Border animation speed, it's really slow because it's the wrong way around. Fast. Got our sail on, everybody. Less of a sail. All right, now it's just a Tuesday. All right, and then the text animation speed. So if we want to bring this down as well. 12. Border. 36. That's cool. Okay, and then we got our border outline width. So we can like fatten that up. And then our text outline width. So that's quite good. Go to the other one. And there you go. So there's a really cool way of using relatively small textures or small textures to do quite a lot, you know. I think it's a really efficient way to do textures, where you can do like billboards, signage, anything like that. I hope you found this interesting. It's really fun to make, and get in touch if there's any questions that you have. Thank you. Have a good day.